Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, Spirit bites the bullet and files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Flight attendant sues Delta Airlines for discrimination. Lufthansa gets EASA nod as approved training organization. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for over 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. Spirit bites the bullet and files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Spirit Airlines has finally filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This follows a series of mounting losses, with the recent failed JetBlue merger deal being the cherry on top. The low-cost carrier has had two major deals fall through in the last couple years. In 2022, Spirit and Frontier announced a plan to merge. However, only 2 months after the reveal, JetBlue sweetened the deal with a $3.8 billion offer. This led Spirit to shut down talks with Frontier and proceed to organize a tie-up with JetBlue. Things were looking up for the airline until the U.S. DOJ blocked the deal in March 2024. This moment sparked speculation of Spirit filing for bankruptcy, though the carrier decided to hold off and attempt to recover. In October, Spirit announced it was planning to sell multiple jets and issue an unspecified number of layoffs. It then revived talks with Frontier in hopes to finally get a merger to go through. It didn't take long for Frontier to ditch the acquisition efforts and leave Spirit to fend for itself. Within a week, Spirit announced it would be filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and entering a deal with bondholders to reduce debt. After the break, Qantas and CAE open new Sydney training center.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Qantas and CAE open new Sydney training center. Qantas Group and CAE jointly announced the opening of a new state-of-the-art pilot training facility in St. Peters near the Sydney Kingsford-Smith Airport in Australia. The facility was developed by a partnership between Qantas and CAE and is now home to 5 full-flight simulators, 3 fixed training devices, and 10 classrooms. Additional batches of equipment will be delivered in the coming months and years, including Australia's first Airbus A350 simulators to train Qantas pilots on the ultra-long-haul Project Sunrise flights. Colorado School District helps fill aviation mechanic shortage. Colorado's Cherry Creek School District, just outside of Denver, has a unique program called the Innovation Campus that provides transformative educational pathways for students in 10th to 12th grades, including one that's training future aircraft mechanics. The Cherry Creek Innovation Campus recently expanded its aircraft mechanic program to 3 years, which, combined with the FAA exams taken along the way, will enable students the training and qualifications they need to get a job repairing and maintaining aircraft right after graduation. Destination Lancaster pledges $100,000 to Flight Test Museum. Destination Lancaster pledged $100,000 towards finishing construction of the new Flight Test Museum at Edwards Air Force Base in California. The museum is expected to become a top destination and draw hundreds of thousands of visitors to the Aerospace Valley Center near Lancaster, California. The museum's strategic location makes it accessible to over 1 million students in grades K through 12 within a 2-hour radius. It will be a transformative STEM education hub for all Southern California schools. CommuteAir pilots approve contract with major pay raise. The nearly 450 pilots at CommuteAir ratified a 2-year contract extension that brings in significant improvements to their pay, benefits, and quality of life, and represents a major step forward in the airline's efforts to attract and retain qualified pilots. Of the 85% of pilots who voted, 87% voted to approve the agreement, demonstrating to CommuteAir the importance of recognizing the expertise and value the pilots bring to the airline. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Flight attendant sues Delta Airlines for discrimination. A Jewish flight attendant, Roey Segev, recently filed a lawsuit against Delta Airlines over claims of religious discrimination. Segev has reported several incidents to the carrier to no avail. Segev has been with Delta Airlines since March 2019. He states that he had no significant issues in his role until early 2023, which launched a, quote, pattern of intentionally discriminating and retaliating against ethnically Jewish and Israeli employees, end quote. On January 15, 2023, Segev was working a flight from Tel Aviv to New York. He alleges that a senior crew member was being demonstrably anti-Semitic, referring to other Israeli passengers as your people and scolding him for speaking Hebrew. According to Segev, Delta never responded to complaints. Just a few months later, on the same Tel Aviv to New York route, Segev and another Jewish flight attendant were left alone to deal with a violent, unruly passenger. Segev noted that the flight crew did not divert to boot the passenger as Delta's standard procedures call for. Segev also claims that Delta knowingly continues to employ flight attendants who publicly support Hamas. Specifically, he states that 4 employees shared, quote, hatred and animosity towards Israel, end quote, on social media, putting them in direct violation of Delta policy. Even after an internal investigation, Segev says they have all kept their jobs. Segev's suit follows just 2 months after another discrimination case against Delta. After these messages, Lufthansa gets EASA nod as approved training organization.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Lufthansa gets EASA nod as approved training organization. Lufthansa Aviation Training became the first approved training organization from an EASA member state to receive the certification from the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. The certificate went into effect on November 15th and was presented to LAT at EASA's headquarters in Cologne. This certification bolsters LAT's position in the European and international training market and establishes LAT as an example for all approved training programs. The elimination of national certifications permits new modules and programs to be rapidly implemented across all LAT training bases. EASA thus assumes the supervisory role previously held nationally. This simplifies collaboration and approval processes within Lufthansa Group and also signifies an important step in the strategic development of LAT. Philip Heinbockel, accountable manager of EASA ATO, said, quote, the EASA ATO of LAT offers significant advantages to the Lufthansa Group and our customers through increased flexibility and agility, as well as a common platform for approved training courses. In the future, it will also facilitate the integration of additional Lufthansa Group ATOs, thereby enhancing efficiency and collaboration, end quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.